decade ago, boat design was primarily focused on one thing: eating and drinking. And don't get me wrong, that is still a core part of why we spend time together and enjoy our days on the water. But some of us are looking for a little bit more than that. We want to have adventures, we want to do some water sports and get out there and enjoy our days to the max. So ladies and gents, that's when a boat like this is the Quarken 35 GT, could come in handy. Now I want you to come in close and get a feel for the points I'm about to make and why that might be a useful option to you, because I've met quite a few of you lately. I'm back in beautiful America. We're in Miami today, and so many of you are coming from different hull designs that don't allow you to expand your area of operations. And when I say that, I mean when the weather turns with a fuller bow and a slower, wetter, rougher boat, you are not going to be able to travel as far, so you're going to limit your area of operations. But with an adventure style hull like on this Quarken, it essentially allows you to run faster, smoother, and burn less fuel, and I'll explain why. At the front of the boat, we have more of a cutting action just here. We are deflecting a lot of the wash out, but it enables us going from the cutting action at the front to a deep V and then air steps. You're going to see one here and another one just there. So that's going to be introducing bubbles below the waterline to break the surface tension with the water. So you're able to run faster with less drag and therefore less horsepower and consume less fuel. There are compromises. You can't have as much big, wide, fuller bows as you do on some of the American styles, but what they do quite cleverly, in my opinion, on a design like this is they move a lot of the entertainment aft and into the middle of the boat. So we still can actually achieve equivalent amount of accommodation on some of the American competitors, but we're doing it in a completely different way. So this is what I find interesting. And this particular boat, it's on the same, it's the same DNA as the original Quarken 35, probably already seen on my channel, but this GT lid is completely different. The driving experience is different and the layout is arguably much more functional. So it's a boat for boaters, I think. So come around and let's jump on board. First thing, practical feature, as we have right now today. It's a beautiful day and we're actually just utilizing the beach. It is a coral beach, so you got to be careful of your feet, but I've got this bow ladder right here, and in order for us to facilitate bow access, we have an offset anchor roller. So we've got stainless steel anchor which goes to chain and then rode. That's operated with an electric windlass, and because we are in America, this boat's trailerable. So we did actually drop this boat in the water behind a big Ford. I think it's a Ford F-150 anyway. You can correct me if I'm wrong. We don't have too many of them in Australia. And yeah, this thing's totally trailerable, and it makes it sort of, again, opening up some of those areas of operations depending on what part of the world you're in. So you could call it a compromise, you can call it an advantage. When we have a lesser volume in the bow, even though it does flare out moderately, what we're doing is giving us that cutting action, giving us that smooth ride through the water, and it enables us to have a bow lounge like so. So you can get 3, probably max 4 people up here. We do have 4 drink holders, and we've got walk around the sun lounge, but we don't have walk around decks. So we have an offset cabin and we have a more narrow passageway on port. However, it's super safe if you're confident on your feet, because this roof design, come up and have a look, you've got this deep gutter which serves as a really, really good grab hold. And then we've obviously got the roof racks, absolutely designed for water toys, surfboards, supboards, etc. on top of this. Lots of real estate for you to use as you see fit. You will see that fixed glass on the center line, so you can increase your light if you need, but you can knock it out with some blinds. We've got the radar, we've got the horn, we've got the VHF, we've got the GPS, and we've actually got rod holders after this. This boat definitely lends itself a little bit more to some of you guys who are interested in the fishing. And these hooks here, here and here, they facilitate a mesh sunshade going forward. This is a forward LED bar light. Probably not going to use that in this country, but you will in cold places. And those shades attach to poles which fit there and there. So that sort of allows some sitting down and reading. It's not standing under the shade. We've got navigation lights here and here. We've got speakers just there. Those are courtesy lights, so it's going to illuminate the decks. We're actually standing on a flexi teak, so this is not real teak. Great for long-term maintenance. And you can see we've got the cushions, and they've all just got covers that go over them, so you don't actually need to remove them if you don't wish. And access into the anchor locker, super simple. So we can see we've got our safety, we've got our gal chain, we've actually got storage for lines, multiple lines in here. We can store a couple of fenders for those of you who are doing Mediterranean style mooring, and this is how you can operate the Maxwell windlass from the bow. And then our bow ladder, once it has been retracted, it slides back and stows out of the way, so it's actually invisible, pretty much invisible when it's in the stowed position. So really, really good, practical, and obviously having this wide space gives us some social abilities here when the sun's not too strong. Pop some more things in here for storage. You probably already noticed when we were jumping on board, adventure style, it has these big, thick rubber rub rails. So for operating, also definitely in a place like this where everyone has vertical timber poles and you're quite often dealing with a bit of running tide, and you kind of want to nudge the boat up against those poles and maneuver yourself into your berth. It's very, very handy from that perspective, but there's more. Before we get there, fresh water in, waste out, petrol or gas, as you say. I'm trying to speak American as much as I can because I know we sound different. I love your accent here, by the way. Gas in, that's 185 gallons from memory. And so this is how much space we have to pass forward and aft, and getting into the helm is super, super easy, but I'm going to come back to that because I want to focus on this part of the boat, which is absolutely incredible for the size of boat this is and what we're able to do with this space. For those of you who are serious about your water sports and your water fun, this is amazing. So essentially what they've done, they've taken the original roof structure from the original 35 and they've moved it forward. So we've got that forward-facing windscreen, cuts out glare in the middle of the day because the glass is protected by that roof. Much, much easier to see through at all times of the day. You could even argue night driving is going to be a little bit easier and safer on this one too. So your sight lines are fantastic. For those of you who are interested in how this boat drives and you want to buy one of these, that's going to be the next video after this. I'm going to link to that. We've had a really, really good run today and we managed to take it through haul over in some waves and also Governor's Cut in some waves. So we've got all that on video for you to experience. I even got pulled over by the cops and I got let off. Thanks guys. That's another story. So this layout here, multifunctional, lots and lots going on, and you have options. You don't have to have this. You can have no back seat, so it's an open rear deck. Notice how all of the headroom or the sky is open above me. So for those of you who are wanting to cast a line, this design might be more suitable because you have open space. Yes, we can protect it with sunshades. So mesh shades with poles, one there and one there. And these ones aft are going to be more than enough standing room because they're going to be the same height as the roof. So if you go for this layout, it's the opposing seating like so. We can double up the table. This table is removable. It has a storage space with the legs underneath me where I'm sitting, actually underneath all the seats. It's super easy. They've just got gas struts and double hinges, super strong, and they're drained. And this material is great for getting wet, but there is more because you can just manipulate the seats. And if you want to do some sundowners on the transom, you can do. How nice is that? Comfortable, good foam. This feels safe. It's obviously for towing a skier, but it's something to hold on to. I think that's sensible. And you'll also note that the rub rail continues. We have a second rub rail, essentially. Your primary one up here, but we double up, which curves around your risk point. This is the place, if you're gonna have a whoopsie, most people hit here. So it's great to have some protection in that location. I love seeing that. These are actually extra rod holders and boom, boom, live bait tank just in here. And then we've got drains, which essentially are scuppers, which take the water off the deck if you take some green water on board. Your cleats They're on this one, they've done in the powdered black aluminium, I guess. Aluminium or stainless? Not too sure. Stainless, okay. Fender storage is here. So we have some fender storage forward. We have more fender storage here. We've also able to secure some lines with their own rope holders in this location as well. Remember, we also had some of that accessible to us forward. So from, again, an operational perspective, this is fantastic. If you're in Europe and you need more fenders, we can pop a couple more down in this location, and we have the same again on the other side. And this is not the full length, it actually goes all the way up to here, so you can put longer items. It is drained, and then we even have underneath this table a massive storage space for larger items, access into the equipment space, and we'll go to that later on in this tour because there's so much more to talk about. So the drop down sides enable this area to facilitate, I'm going to argue, 10 people if you wanted to have a party and just have drinks around here under the shade of the sun cloth. So you could probably get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 people here around this aft deck on a 35 footer. So that's awesome, but it doesn't end. So you can go away with this seat here if you want to use it in more fishing mode. You can have a sun lounge instead as well, so more European style. And there's also the option to have a sleeping cabin back here. So it's probably going to be a little bit more popular in the Nordic countries, I would argue. Jump in the comments if you disagree. And there's, from what I saw on the drawings, there's also a sun lounge on top of that aft cabin as well. But this seat, when you're in driving mode and you want to face forward, manipulates itself like this. It's also got another trick. There's actually a huge insulated electric fridge underneath here. So it's the whole width of this seat and it's insulated, and this will provide excellent insulation. It's drained, electrically operated. So that's great for, you could put a couple of cases of tinnies in there, no worries. And then once you get to this location and go forward, everyone's fully protected under the fixed roof. So it's really, really awesome. Before we get there though, if you want to go forward on the port side, you do have to be a little bit nimble. You go up these short stairs, but you've got to grab hold here and then you can hold onto the roof. So it's perfectly safe. It's potentially not necessary from an operational perspective, because if you just need to hang a fender, see how we've got these grab rails running the whole length of the boat, and we can actually just tie a fender anywhere we like, and then we've still got access to the midships cleats without any difficulty. And then this table also doubles in size, and you could probably notice we've got the grab holds, the deep drink holders, so that's going to hold a tinny with a cooler, not a problem. So that's important for the hot climates. And then these seats here, heaps going on. We've got storage with the hinges underneath, and then the primary helm actually goes up electrically. I'm going to cut to some B-roll for you, but this is potentially one of the best seats in the house if you want to be protected under the shade, enjoy the cool breezes, and you get this view, which is awesome. But then when you are going into drive mode, you're going to manipulate the seat like this, and then you can flip up the bolsters as you see fit, and then electrically raise the whole seat up into the position that you require if you want to sit and drive, because it's also a super comfortable boat for standing and driving. But before I get to that, let me just cover this. I mean, I love this. I just love how it's all open. Yes, you can enclose this with clears. So we do have bolt rope tracks here and here. So don't worry if you want to be able to close it up at the end of the day, or depending on what part of the world you're in, that is possible. But essentially we've got a barbie, drink holders, we've got a sink just here, cold water sink, and we've got more prep space with plug-in. We do have the lithium pack on this one. This boat's loaded. We're actually running the upgraded 350 Yammies instead of the standard 300s, and we have air conditioning on this boat as well. But you would probably refer to this one as your primary fridge. We've actually got our sandwiches and drinks in here now, and that's got a freezer drawer, and then you've got a small bin, boom, in here, cutlery drawer, in this one, and then these 1, 2, 3 deep drawers, which are all soft close. So plenty of picnic platters, bits and pieces are all going to be able to go in there quite happily. And you might even notice, see how the floor has these joins like this. That's kind of adding longevity or thinking into the future, because Quarken design all these boats for you to be able to remove the fuel tanks one day, 20 years down the line. If you wanted to do some major maintenance, you can do. They have designed that into the boat, but it's essentially the way it is. You can just run through here with a hose at the end of the day, clean the thing down, and sort of worry about having fun another day. Strip light LED, down lights up here. We have nice textured roof, and I can see it's also been secured properly with some screws, so it's not going to fall down in a seaway, and we did test that today already. And just the amount of shade that this is giving to you is a real game changer. Now coming closer and have a look at the helm, because we do have AC. I appreciate that because I live part-time in Thailand and it's hot, so I actually do want to have the ability to have some cool air. You know, you'd appreciate that here and also in Dubai as well. But the helm itself, this matte finish is great for no reflections. I'd argue that this windscreen is better than an aft sloping windscreen for no reflection. So once again, your ability to operate this boat with a relatively low bow. I'm not a tall guy, I'm 5'7", but I can see freaking everything. And when you have visibility like this, your ability to command the vessel at speed and through bad weather increases, because you can see exactly what's going on. You know, we had sea turtles around us today. I'm like, you want to see this stuff rather than run over it. So it's kind of handy. Anyway, we got the zip wake in here. We got the safety just in here. Speaker for the VHF. That's the VHF control just there. We've got the electronic throttles. We can run them on single lever, which is going to be useful out at sea. And this one is in combination with the joystick, and because it's a Yamaha, you can actually set this up to work with the bow thruster. So if you want to slide the boat sideways with the joystick, you just have to press, I think it's F2 from memory, and it'll work in combination with the bow thruster if you have that option. In terms of all the switches here, all our necessary lights, navigation lights, and all of our entertainment lights, bilges, freshwater pump, horn is here, wiper, it operates both wipers. There's not 2 speeds, slightly annoying, it would be good if there was 2 speeds, and the washer function just here. The fusion head unit is just here, grab hold, 1 drink holder here, that's for the navigator, because the skipper is going to have his or her drink holder just there, and space for 2 screens. Now, I like having 2 screens on boats of this size. The reason I say that, when you are in a shallow water place like here in Florida, or say even somewhere where you have to do a lot of navigation like Finland, Sweden or Norway because of all the rocks in the islands, what you'll do, you might have one chart plotter zoomed out and then you have the other chart plotter zoomed in. So then you can, as long as you're safe, as long as you've done your preparation, your planning, you can actually run fast through fun or semi-challenging places, and you've got a good overhead picture and then you've got a nice deep down, and obviously they're multifunctional, so you can have your radar if you want, you can have your fish finder and all the other bits and pieces should you need. This is the autopilot operation for the Yamaha. This is the Yamaha diagnostics. You get really good numbers on the Yamaha diagnostics, so you can see your miles per gallon. I'm talking gallons because I'm in America. You can see your total fuel flow, and you can basically play with the trim until you see best economy, so quite useful. This is the bow thruster control just here, and have I missed anything? These are just plug-ins for your computers. That's the operation for the seat, and this is your start-stop for the Yammies just here. However, you can do dual engine start-stop by utilizing that button just there. Compass, speakers, I would probably put phones in here so they're out of any direct sunlight so they don't overheat, and then you've got a charger just in here, and there's no chance of waves coming over here and getting this area wet, so I'd suggest that's a sensible place for charging electronics. Extra drink holders just here, decent size, and you got your 110 or 240 depending on what part of the world you're in. This is a sliding companionway, but we do have the safety, so you can fold that out. It's nice and tight, so it's not going to go anywhere. And then this footrest makes life comfortable depending on what setting you're going to have the seat, because you can play with that forward, back, up and down. So this is cool. Remember, it is an adventure boat, so it's not necessarily standing room for everyone, but it's standing room for me. That's why I'm good at touring boats. So, you know, much more than me, 5'7". If you're that much taller than me, you're not going to have standing headroom. However, this lounge, I'm sitting here feeling the AC wafting on me right now. It's a pleasant space. You know, you've got beautiful big window there and there, which gives you adequate views out. You've got a big overhead fixed glass forward of the windscreen. You can knock that out. So if you're in Scandinavia and you actually, the sun never goes down in summer, you can do full blackout with the blinds, this one and this one. So it's not a problem. But in terms of the bed size, I'll actually jump on it and give you a perspective because it is huge. Okay, so if I lie this way, I've got enough space to sleep, but it's epically huge. Look how big that is. It's like a 3-person bed for those of you that need that. I don't know who does, but there you go. Jump in the comments if that's you. Charging points, 240, 110 and 12 volt. We got drink holders there and there. We've actually got nice rounded edges everywhere. This feels like a safe space. These are actually the storage bags for the sunshade poles. We have another stereo control down here, so you can control your entertainment in this zone. We've got speakers forward, escape hatch with a Mozzie screen on it and sun blackout, and that folds up. Let's just have a look underneath. Okay, so we can get into the bow thruster and boom, boom. Okay, there's the AC just there. So if you didn't option the AC, this would be another storage location for some airline luggage, I would argue. And then forward of that is going to be access to the bow thruster. Boom, boom. Let's just close this back up. But it doesn't end. We have speakers here, and then this seat on the starboard side actually turns into a bed. So you can get rid of this little table if you wish and have probably 2 kids or 1 kid on that bed. Now, the head, it's a sit-down head. So blokes, if you like to stand up and pee, you're on the transom. But I think the whole reason why you would sort of be moving into a boat of this direction is to keep the ladies happy, and I think that's certainly going to work on this design because you have lots and lots of bench space here. It is actually a wet area if you remove this carpet because we've got a pull-out shower just there. Yes, it's a sit-down shower, but that's the sacrifice or the compromise that you make for having such great visibility over the bow. If you wanted the best visibility for the best driving experience, you can't have a stand-up head in a design like this. Bit of storage in there, some soapy thingamajiggies just there, ventilation, more storage up here. We have this little seat thing over the dunny, so you actually just fold that up when you actually need to use the head. And if you're having a shower, it's the sit-down shower style. Couple of steps just here with some grip on them, and you know, you could argue it's almost a full stand-up mirror, so you still can come down, get changed, put your linens on if you're the sort of person who goes out to the beach bar in the Mediterranean. Come on, let's go have a look at the equipment space. Okay, so we've removed the table, legs and table which stow just there, and this essentially equipment space is great for storing bags and things. I'm not so sure about water toys. I'd be putting them up on the roof, easier to get access to them. But what is going on in here, I might grab that camera off you so you guys can see as best as possible. This is actually the lithium battery here. So the 12 volt, or sorry, the air conditioning is a 12 volt system. All right, so you don't need to be thinking about generators. That's the reservoir for the wipers. This is the fridge motor. We've got some power distribution forward. I'm just going to show you battery box, boom, boom, under here. So that's going to be all the batteries for the motors and house systems, and underneath is going to be the pickup for the AC and into the bilge in here. So if you wanted to option the boat with Seakeeper gyro, yes, you can do that. I think they can even just prepare it for Seakeeper at the factory, and you can do a local, or they can do one for you. So talk to your dealer about that. Don't hold me to it. So yeah, essentially this is what that's allowing you to do. And then I think the massive benefit is going to be all the options of the space. It's the multifunctional deck layout. It's the visibility, it's the protection from the sun and protection from the waves and the wind that this windscreen gives you that's going to open up your area of operations. And so I'm going to actually refer to my notes now, because I've been thinking about this all day, about who of you are going to get the most value out of owning a boat like this. I believe some of you who have been operating on lakes all around the world are going to see a lot of value out of this. So if you've had a sports cruiser with a fuller bow, which had a, arguably maybe a bigger accommodation forward on the bow or downstairs, but if your sports cruiser gets really uncomfortable when the wind is up on the lake, because you get those short, sharp waves, and if you want to be able to travel further on that lake, then this is a hull design that's going to allow you to do that, okay? So those of you in that position, you're going to see a lot of value. Some of you around the world who are used to operating in harbours, so you're doing some inshore saltwater boating, but you are now ready to go offshore, whether it's just short coastal runs or across to the Bahamas here, or even say from Barcelona to Mallorca, or Sydney to Brizzy even if you wanted. This is a hull that will do that for you. So if you want to do some considerable coastal offshore runs, in the right conditions, being safe and all that normal stuff, you are going to see a lot of value in a boat like this. And I think some of you who were perhaps considering getting a second boat, so you've got the boat where you do all the entertaining on, but it's not necessarily the best offshore boat or the best fishing boat, and so you were thinking, okay, we'll keep call it a sports cruiser, but now we're going to get a center console. That's going to be the fishing boat, and this is going to be the lunch boat. I would argue that this could do both of those missions. All right. I already know that many of you are coming down from 50, 60, 70 foot boats and just either owning one of these as a second boat or your next replacement, because it's so easy to use. So I already know that's quite a big demographic of you out there, but I was specifically thinking of those three first groups that I mentioned. So in terms of some feedback on the design, I think that you have to talk about the hull. These are just really nice hulls. They do what's on the brochure. They go good. They don't burn too much fuel. They're comfortable and they're practical. So that's great. This roof is epic. In places like this works, because those of you who are more sensitive to the sun are going to see a great deal of value, as opposed to having one small roof just over the center console area and not enough shade for everyone without the big overhangs that we have on this. I think this open plan design is special. Being able to leave this helm and go forward up this starboard passageway and go aft without interfering with any of your mates. This is a really, really good functional design for those of you who want to solo drive and do it elegantly. And accommodation options. We can sleep 4 people down there, or 2 adults and 2 kids, okay, not 4 adults. But we can also option this thing with another double cabin aft. So that's pretty interesting. And again, my mates who are using, I'm talking to so many of you in Finland and Sweden. I never thought people would watch my channel from faraway places, but you are, because we're talking a lot. And what a great place to spend your summer holidays. Kids in that cabin, mum and dad in that cabin, and the occasional guest on the side bed. So amazing. Considerations for you. Should you take the standard 300? Should you get the upgrade to the 350s? I think you should talk to your dealer about that. See what engines are better resale, or what package is better resale in your market, and consider how much weight you are adding to the boat and how much weight you are going to drive with on average. So just ask those questions to your dealer, and he or she will help you with that. And also, obviously, this layout back here. Do you take this layout? Do you have the open aft deck? Do you have the sun lounge? Do you have the cabin? That's going to be a question for yourselves. But I think when you are asking that question, once again, just ask your dealer. No boat is forever. You do have to sell this thing at some time. So just ask your dealer what, in your opinion, is going to be the easiest to sell in our local market, because then that might make it easier for he or she to trade it and then obviously broker it when ready. So just ask those questions and hopefully the answers will come. And on that, some of you are probably going to want to understand how this boat performs. That's coming up next. It was a lot of fun. We've had a great day today in an absolutely beautiful location. I'll tell you what, weather like this it's inspiring. But do watch it. The link is coming up on the screen right now. Please engage in the comments. Help other blokes or girls in the comments with questions. You are all doing that. I appreciate it. And like, subscribe, because that's what the factories see, which helps me get access to more boats for you. Love you lots. Coming from Miami. See you in the next video.